It looks like Disney might have some fresh plans brewing for the John Carter franchise, and while nothing's been officially confirmed, it seems like they're up to something behind the scenes. Whether it's a reboot, a series, or even a new movie, the fact that the franchise is still in conversation after all these years is exciting on its own. The first film may have been a financial flop, but the world it introduced was massive, colorful, and full of potential. And if the studio is revisiting the idea, maybe they're finally ready to give Barsoom another shot. Andrew Stanton, who directed the original 2012 movie, had a clear vision for the sequel, which would have been called Gods of Mars. Just like how Willem Dafoe's Tars Tarkas opened the first film with narration, this time it would have been Lynn Collins' Dejah Thoris telling the story, this time to her son Carthoris. She's recounting the events of the first movie, believing that Carthoris might never get the chance to meet his father, John Carter. That setup already promised a deeper emotional arc, grounding the sequel in themes of loss, hope, and family. But then things take a darker turn. Dejah's father, Tardos Mors, played by Ciarán Hinds, offers to put her child to bed. The twist? He's not actually her father. It's Mathai Shang, the shape-shifting Thurn leader, in disguise. He kidnaps Carthoris, vanishes into the shadows, and just like that, the movie's opening credits would have rolled, kicking off right where the original left off, with John Carter returning to Mars, also known as Barsoom. From there, the story would have jumped ahead 10 years. Carter finally makes it back to Barsoom, only to discover that Dejah has gone missing. She's followed a dangerous path down the river Is, in a desperate attempt to find their son. Determined to reunite with her, Carter teams up with his old friend Tars Tarkas once again, setting off on a journey that leads them to an underground city run by the Firstborn, a mysterious race who worship the goddess Isis. Except, just like everything else Mathai Shang touches, it's a lie. Isis isn't a real goddess at all. She's just another identity the shape-shifting villain uses to manipulate those around him. As Carter uncovers the truth, he realizes his son has been genetically altered by Mathai Shang into a powerful adult warrior. In a heart-wrenching climax, Carter nearly ends up fighting and possibly killing his own child before the truth is revealed. Thankfully, the family is reunited in the end, and the best part? The Red, Green, and Firstborn Martian races all band together to defeat the Thurns. That kind of unity is rare in Barsoom, and it would have made for a powerful cinematic moment. The follow-up to Gods of Mars would have been Warlord of Mars, wrapping up the trilogy. In that story, Carter discovers that the Thurns are plotting something catastrophic. They plan to manipulate Mars races into all-out war by impersonating their leaders. Dejah tries to stop them by inventing a Thurn-detecting device, but it's destroyed before it can do much good. In the chaos, the Thurns manage to kill Carter, or so it seems. Turns out they only got a copy of him. The real John Carter wakes up on Earth again. He's ambushed by Thurn agents known as Pinkertons, but with the help of Edgar, yes, Edgar Rice Burroughs, the author turned character, he escapes and returns to Mars. The final battle has Carter racing to the top of the world, where he finally defeats Mathai Shang and earns his rightful place as the Warlord of Mars. It's a classic hero's journey, with love, war, deception, and redemption all wrapped into one. It's a shame those movies never happened. Disney had big ambitions for the John Carter series, but after the first film tanked at the box office, all the momentum disappeared. The film cost over $300 million to make and only pulled in about $281 million worldwide. That shortfall led Disney to write off a massive $200 million loss. It became one of the biggest box office bombs in history, right up there with Waterworld. The failure was so significant that Disney let the rights to the John Carter stories lapse by 2014, leaving all sequel plans on ice. But here's the thing. John Carter didn't flop because of its story. The source material, written by Edgar Rice Burroughs, who also created Tarzan, is filled with vivid imagination and larger-than-life characters. The Barsoom series spans 11 books, each packed with thrilling adventures, jaw-dropping settings, and wild alien creatures. There's still a bunch of material that hasn't been touched, and many of those moments could look amazing on the big screen. One great example is the human-sized chess match from The Chessmen of Mars. This book doesn't even focus on John Carter himself. It's about his daughter, Tara, and her love interest, Gahan. The story ends with Gahan forced to play a life-sized game of Martian chess, where the pieces are actual warriors who fight each other to the death. That scene alone has the kind of visual potential directors dream about, not to mention the emotional stakes it adds to this story. Then there's Synthetic Men of Mars, where Carter's sidekick, Vordaj, ends up with his brain transferred into a monstrous body by the mad scientist Ross Thavas. It's twisted, bizarre, and perfect for a dark sci-fi adaptation. Imagine the drama of a man trying to protect his original body while navigating love and horror in someone else's terrifying form. John Carter of Mars, the final book in the main Barsoom series, features one of the most bizarre scenes ever written. Carter teaming up with an army of parachuting Martian rats to defeat a massive kaiju-like giant built by a villain named Pew Mogul. It might sound silly, but the sheer scale of it could make for an unforgettable live-action sequence. And there's even more. The gut-punch twist in Gods of Mars, where Carter learns that the legendary Valley of Dor is not a paradise, but a horrific place filled with monsters who feast on pilgrims. His powerful unifying speech in Warlord of Mars, where he calls for peace among the planet's races, and the Rogues Gallery team-up of the Mastermind of Mars, which includes a religious zealot, an assassin, and a half-human ape. The list goes on. Even romances in the Barsoom series evolved over time. In A Fighting Man of Mars, Tad Hadron sets out to rescue a general's daughter, but ends up falling for a slave girl named Tavia instead. It's a more grounded and natural love story than many of Burroughs' earlier tales, and one that would resonate well with modern audiences. Then there's Lana of Gathol, a series of shorter stories that could be tricky to adapt as a single film, but still features one of the best sword fights in the franchise. In it, Carter delays a duel just long enough for an invisibility pill to kick in, ultimately defeating his opponent right as he vanishes. It's clever, tense, and action-packed, exactly the kind of moment that could shine in a rebooted series. So even though John Carter flopped in 2012, the Barsoom series still has a lot left to offer. And now, over a decade later, there's a growing sense that the story might not be over just yet. Critics and fans have reappraised the original film, recognizing its ambition and the unique world it introduced. It may not have been perfect, but it certainly didn't deserve to be buried. And lately, there's been talk, just rumors for now, that Disney might be planning to reboot John Carter in some form. Instead of another movie, it could be a series made specifically for Disney+. That would actually be a smart move, because the Barsoom books are packed with enough lore, characters, and twists to fuel multiple seasons. Plus, with modern visual effects and streaming flexibility, the franchise could finally reach its full potential. If this reboot does come together, it wouldn't just be a second chance, it would be the long-overdue spotlight the Barsoom stories always deserved. Whether it sticks closely to the original trilogy plans or branches out into unexplored territory, one thing is clear: there's still a lot of adventure left on Mars. And that's that for today's video. Thanks for watching, and we will see you in the next one.